GM the other day. It's an exciting time for the Chicago Hounds franchise, a franchise that has really elevated itself into a position in this league that they are a side to be reckoned with. And this man you're going to see coming up, Luke White, he is a man to be reckoned with as well. His 100th cap in Major League Rugby today. There he is in that green kit, and the Hounds are ready to get going with Luke White coming in the reserves here today. 100 caps for Luke White. The opening kick between Chicago and New England comes up next. This broadcast is brought to you by CTMS. CTMS Travel, the official travel partner of Major League Rugby. Stop managing travel, start moving. And Sports Certified, powered by iHerb, the official online health market of Major League Rugby. Third member of our crew, as I mentioned, Alex Corbacero. He's the Scrum Yoda, and he is in Nashville. Corbs, the floor is yours.
Howdy, everyone. How is it going? Welcome to Nashville, MLR rugby fans. We are at Geodis Park Stadium, and it is an absolute sight to see. The grass, the stadium, it is unbelievable out here. As far as rugby goes, this is world class. This is a big venue. This is a dark horse in the rugby world in America. It's been talked about as a potential 2031 Rugby World Cup venue. This is the first time it's going to host non-soccer on it, and it looks incredible. The Chicago Hounds decided to bring this game to Nashville to really test out this market. There's always been whispers of an MLR team here. This time now they get to dip their toe in, announce rugby to this market, and show what it's about. They're on the precipice of being 3-0. They have a big rivalry with the Free Jacks, and they said today is strictly about business. They're going to try and use their physicality, their control, and set-piece dominance to put the three-time defending champions to the sword. When you look at the Free Jacks.
Good turnout for this one in Nashville on this Sunday afternoon. One more match to come tonight. This one mishandled, and New England trying to gather it in. And they do. And they come up with a needed stop there, Bree.
Yeah, look, the Free Jacks have come out with composure. Phase after phase, they've had to withstand this Hounds attack, and they were losing meters. But eventually, we take a look at Mitch Wilson right here, forcing that last error. And as we take a look at this guy, I mean, you talk about the head-to-head. This guy is so immense for the Free Jack squad. He returns back to New England after a little stint in Utah. And Mark O'Keefe. These wingers are they contrast in style. Mark O'Keefe is so dominant on the carries. Mitch Wilson plays much more into the kicking strategy for New England. We'll see that more as the game develops, but these two weapons for these two sides both play on the wings, so instrumental to the USA in their own respective sides, but very different styles, and it's fun to watch.
Great stuff from Bree there. We'll track that as we go along. Wilson just turned 30 on tax day earlier this past week.
We asked about distance. Let's keep square.
Always good, clear instruction from our referees in the middle. In this case today, the Auckland, New Zealand native Peter Pender in the middle.
And as we get ready for this first scrum, you know, when we talked to Ryan Martin earlier this week, he talked about how their match against Old Glory last week was a huge challenge for them because Old Glory is so good in the set piece, just like the Hounds are. And for New England, it was a good test to see, okay, how do we withstand this pressure? It's gonna go into their strategy, which we'll talk a little bit more later in the game about. But right now, Chicago winning that one.
They sure are. They've got possession. Played free, mishandled. And it's going to be a call going the way of the Hounds here. Yeah, to your point, scrum 100% last week, line out 95% for New England as we look back here at this one, Bree.
Yeah, look, and that's just sheer dominance right there. Immediately gets the advantage. And you can see Vanderbank up there just trying to disrupt, and I think Devoto wanted to play on.
That's you there, mate.
But now they're getting ready for this line out on the 5. It's been all Hounds on the attack. Can the Free Jacks turn over this ball yet again?
Chicago's got them up against it here. Nearly 7 minutes gone here in the match. The Hounds 2-0 on the season. New England 0-2. Had their worst loss in franchise history in week 1 at California. Just got it handed to him. Came back with a better effort last week. Not good enough still.
Once backwards, Green.
Losing by 2 against DC. Now the Hounds trying to power this one in again. Pender's there, and the arm is in the air. In the 8th minute, the Chicago Hounds have drawn first blood, and they lead it 5-0.
Well, you just wondered when that was coming. They had all the momentum, and of course they finish it through Theo Fury. Scored 2 tries last week and keeps it going, but look at this maul. It is just the arm wrestle and the Hounds just taking it through, and the patience here too. You can see he's just keeping the ball in hand, knows that he keeps going forward and forward, and then finally sees the whitewash, gets it down.
That determination, that relentless push, and that power from the Chicago side here early on. And you know, they're going to downplay it, and I think they did a little bit because last year came down to a kick. They missed it the year before. They were beaten by them. They had a 17-0 lead. I know we're in week 3, but those players don't forget things like that.
Well, and as we watch Hilsenbeck take that kick, and that one sails through. I mean, you talk about storylines in this match. Last year, Eastern Conference Finals, you just talked about, came down to that last kick for Hilsenbeck, and that shot went wide. And actually, it hit the goalpost. And I know a lot of fans couldn't watch it at home, but that was just heartbreak for the Hounds. So yes, they feel good with how they've started the season, but this game specifically, this week 3 matchup means so much more, and it's revenge for them.
They want to make a statement, no doubt. This New England side, you and I were talking about it pre-match. You look at the season now, it's just third of the way through the season. You do not want to be sitting at 0-3.
No, and every coach you talk to in the league says it's a short season. We have to make sure, though, that our guys can stay healthy. Chicago 3-0. They've had a lot of injuries, but they've been able to stand up to that task.
Here comes New England. They've got a lot of experience and a lot of pride on this side. Their scrum half is Oscar Lennon. Last week, he led all MLR players with 104 passes as this ball goes into touch. And it's going to stay with the Free Jacks of New England, who are the benchmark in this league, 3 in a row. Nobody's been better when it's come to championship time than New England in Major League Rugby. Great turnout there at Geodis Park down in Nashville. First time MLR has ever been in the state of Tennessee.
That was immense from Den Hoot.
Turnover.
Just completely disrupted that line out. New England started with that ball, and let's just take a look at that. But it was all him. He's got so much potential. We're going to take a look at this kick first as Hilsenbeck just looks to buy some more territory for the Hounds. But we'll get a shot at exactly what Den Hoot does in a moment. But that ball stays in play.
Mishandled. Chicago's going to have possession because of that mishandled ball, that knock-on.
Knock on by White, and then 2 is offside, played the ball.
There you have it. Pender wearing the mic. He's basically the 4th member of our broadcast crew. And let's look back at the man they call Moose, Nathan Den Hoot, earlier.
Yeah, so now we can take a look at this, but look at Den Hoot's arms just all over, digging for the ball and the ball carrier, and just rips it out from his hands and just wins that ball back. I mean, when you're New England, you're trying to prevent that from happening, but Den Hoot, just an animal, gets all over that one, wins that ball back.
And a guy that was on Houston last year. Track that ball down. USA Eagle is Geiger out of Colorado. Football player, wrestler in his background, has become a very good player in the sport of rugby here in MLR and with the USA Eagles. Here's Lennon now. Charged down, they get it past him. Out near halfway, Webster over there just could not make that play in the field of play.
Ball's still live.
Yeah, and actually, Free Jacks get that ball back, and the Free Jacks, look at the 1st Regiment crowd here in the stands.
Yep, they represent. They always do, and you can tweet us, of course, at #MLR2026. There's a lot of rugby fans out there that look forward to these matches, not only to watch them, but so they can try to get their names on social media, on television, which is great. Keep it coming, keep building, keep growing. Here's New England now, stopped at halfway.
Now white, blue, or green.
70% of this New England side is new from last season. A lot of change.
Easy, lad. Hey, roll.
Yeah, that one just on Rumble for getting caught at the bottom of the breakdown. Sometimes there's only so much you can do, and you're going to get that penalty. So we take another look here, just trying to wrap up that ball with the assistance of O'Keefe. And look, he just gets landed on, and then there's not really anything he can do. But as Lesage is passing that ball back, passes it right in front of him, and so there's just a clear picture for the referee, and that one dinged against Chicago.
New England will get it back. Of course, their head coach, Ryan Martin, 2025 MLR Coach of the Year, leading that side of the championship, his 2nd stint. Coached them in 2021. Similar to Harrison Boyle, came in 2021, left, came back last year to win. So those 2 guys connected that way. This one tapped away, and Chicago comes up with a turnover in the lineout. Look out. Intercepted, taken away, and the Free Jacks are going to get on the board. It's taken in by the veteran, the 3-time champion, Wayne Vanderbank. We're a kick from a tie match.
Okay. Vanderbank's first start of the 2026 season, and he says it's all on my terms. Take a look at the line out first. Spilled that ball. Chicago immediately looked to get it away from pressure, but Vanderbank, his response to get up and launch on the defense. What quick response from him. Wins that ball back, and with the kick to come, could tie this matchup.
And that kick is good. In a 7-7 match, so off to a hot start. Joel Hodgson, the newcomer this year after 4 years in Utah. Here's a look back three.
Well, yeah, and it was just that good read from him. Remember, he was on the attack initially, so he was set up deep. So he sprinted up to immediately kill that space and get the defense up. And that hard work turns into reward for him.
2024 MLR Player of the Year. Won just about every award you could win that year in the second championship. He's one of a handful that are still around from the first of those 3 in a row that New England has won. So the Free Jacks here in the 16th minute. Inside of the 22 on the take. Wilson played it off the newcomer Jacob Norris, product of New Zealand. You mentioned Johnson. That's a huge loss to them. He had a massive week last week too. 16 tackles, 34 arrivals at the ruck, so that's tough to replace. But Ryan Martin feels the 6 and 7 they got are up to the task.
Well, I'll say you just off a couple stats for him right there. I'll add one more stat to last week.
Lay it on me.
3 broken bones that he was playing with during that match. And, you know, we have been assured that he will return in 3 or 4 weeks' time. But right now, the Free Jacks doing well in these first 16 minutes.
They're rugby players. I mean, they play through anything.
That's right.
Amazed every time I get to put on a headset and call a rugby match in this league or anywhere else. Try from Wayne Vanderbank.
He's got to roll.
De Haas playing it short to the left. Hounds open the scoring in the 8th minute. Theo Furry. Wayne Vanderbank in New England. That intercept, they leveled the match in the 14th minute here.
We're going to knock on Mike.
Wilson back, and that ball goes down on the floor, gathered in just outside the 22 by New England. Big heavy run there. Mac Jones trying to strip that ball out. Advantage here for New England. There's the whistle before Hodgson can kick it away.
No, I didn't see the first one. I've got it high.
We just hear the ref Mike right there just trying to communicate with his players, but we'll go back
I didn't see the first one clearly.
to the penalty. As we take a look now at Ben Lesage, and look, his counterpart, we saw him just score in Vanderbank, right?
Yep.
But was something that Martin told us early this week is one of the tactics that they're changing for this week is get a more physical line up front. Lesage and Vanderbank are so comfortable with each other, and then you've got Hodgson, who we see on screen next to them.
Brilliant.
I gave you a mark. Stay on it, please.
Hodgson driving the game, but to have those 2 physical counterparts on the outside of him, that's what they need to respond to the Chicago physicality.
You are spot on, partner. And Ben Lesage, his 4th year with New England, his 75th cap today. Here comes a ball popping out right into the hands on cue of the Cap Canadian International, Ben Lesage.
No, wait. Happy with that? No green.
Mopo the carry, newcomer at number 8. Now Hodgson turns. Lesage trying to take on 2. Lennon thought about it, now plays it into the hands of Caleb Geiger.
Stay here, lads. Playing advantage, 6 rolling into the 9.
In tight is New England.
Short now,
Chicago
play
trying
back.
to hold up the carry there from Nathan Salmon, another newcomer to this Free Jack side here in 2026. Lennon.
Use it.
It's a win for Chicago there, forced them back a meter or so.
Still playing advantage.
You hear Peter Pender, an advantage still being played here for New England. They're trying to get home, get down. And the Free Jacks are able to do so as they work their way in. As we've hit 19 minutes gone in the match, in New England on top, 12-7.
Oh, and just swarmed by his teammates. Nate Sylvia with the huge carry. Oh, what a beauty. We'll get a replay in just a moment, but huge one. It starts with Mitch Wilson on the other side. Take a look at this. They just stretch the width, and they're able to play with those last 5 meters on the edge. Oh, talk about that run and that carry into Brock Webster. Shuts him down, and then they continue to play. Geiger had a couple of different carries in this passage, all physical, which got him to go forward for his team. And then the last one here, Nate Sylvia.
giddy up in his step. We'll get the hydration break here from Nashville. The Free Jacks on top by 5 over Chicago.
We wanted to put out a performance that our fans, family, and our supporters could be really proud of.
Unscripted, unfiltered, unapologetic, united. Major League Rugby.
The right boot there of the most recent try scorer, that is Nate Sylvia. And the reason for the pink lace in his shoe, in his boot, it is a gender reveal. So safe to say, congratulations to Katie Sylvia. And we'll have a sister now. Congratulations to the family. Great stuff. Him getting in for that try. He's a veteran player. So what's front and center for you right now? We're 20 into this match, 12-7 New England.
Yeah, I mean, look, Chicago was dominating the first 10 minutes of this match. New England have come striking back. What's interesting to me, if you look at the stats thus far, Chicago has had so much of the possession. They've had 35 carries thus far to the Free Jacks 9. But the red zone efficiency of the Free Jacks has been so good. Right now, massive improvement from last week.
And that's an area they've got to be better in, right? They only scored 1 try in round 1 when they week 1, and then, of course, 3 last week. But they got to be better than that. Yeah,
look, they visited the red zone 13 times last week, and they only converted 3. But now let's see how Chicago in their efficiency here.
Chicago was dynamite last week. They scored 8 tries. Can New England keep riding the momentum here? Chicago trying to power this one to the line, and they do. Another one. The arm goes in the air. Dan Hoot, Furry and company in there, and the Hounds get this match level at 12 with a kick coming.
Well, let me tell you, Ben, there is a team that is just absolutely clicking in the forwards, and that is the Chicago Hounds. As we know, as they come into this season, they bolstered their squad with the forwards, Theo Fury, Nathan Den Hoot, just a couple of those names. We just take another look. They make this driving maul look so easy, and you can see it's going to disappear from your screen because it's going to go on the right side, just next to the sideline. And really a clearer finish than you see on most of these mauls, but just talk about the physicality. And that's already a brace for this guy. How good.
Putting on a show. Dylan Fawcett had 9 last year. Big Theo trying to track that number down. So Hilson back here with a tough kick, 5 meters from that touch line. Right side of your screen. Calmly strikes us Hilson back well strong enough, but off the mark. And we are now being told there is a challenge coming. So hold the phone right now. For the time being, a 12-12 match. And there's a look at Big Theo Furry.
2058. We're looking for a maul penalty. Okay.
So there was a change after last Sunday night.
All right, so the challenge is coming through from New England.
Challenge now.
We're looking
no
for
longer
a maul
2.
obstruction. All right, can you come back and play that through again, please, Jimmy?
So Jimmy is James Harrison. He's the on-site RRS operator for the crew. Peter Pender, Robert Kluzniak on the left, Mike Lawrenson on the right.
Number 5 is going to get penalized for that. He's clearly chested back. That is a maul obstruction. Okay, so we've got a successful challenge. From New England. The challenge is successful. There is obstruction in the maul. Number 5 is clearly in front of the maul as it is formed. The try will not stand. We will come back for a penalty against Chicago on the 5. The clock will be reset to the time of the incident, and New England will retain their challenge.
So that is huge, Bree Kim. As we look back here, you're watching number 5, right?
Yeah,
It's
you're
a maul
watching Den
obstruction.
Hoot.
Number 5 clearly in front.
And you can see, and the call was chest to back separation, and that was the obstruction call. But I think someone can explain it better than me, and that's going to be the laws analyst.
And let's go to our laws analyst, Lex Weiner. Lex, what'd you see? What do you take away from the decision and what took place there in that play?
So there is no clear.
Upstep, please.
So back to it, a 12-7 match. New England
Hold. Thank you.
continues to lead here after the challenge. That's a great job by their entire staff.
Captain now has to be a little bit more judicious with when they decide to throw that challenge. But New England felt good about that one, and now they keep those points off the board.
Here comes Chicago now. Mark O'Keefe, what a scene he's had, albeit just 2 matches for O'Keefe, their right winger. 3 line breaks, 14 carries coming in, 10 defenders beaten for O'Keefe. The capped eagle, big hit as that ball was delivered. Here's Den Hoot now, laying back. The Haas in there under pressure. You heard Peter Pender, advantage being played for the Hounds here. Here is O'Keefe now. Wingers on the left side. Down to the floor it goes. We'll reset for the call.
You can see O'Keefe. The work rate has been really good over the last few phases, and some chirping back and forth between Hodgson and O'Keefe, as you would expect.
Yep.
Well, you take a look here as DeHaas gets that messy ball out. Really good hands here from Lopetti. Just keeping those 2 defenders locked in, and then O'Keefe already on the other side there. Just a little basketball pass out the back to O'Keefe, who's already made a lot of meters in this first half.
Yep. Been very impactful has O'Keefe. Got some opportunity last year with the Eagles.
Yeah, last line up.
Coach Scott Lawrence seeing some things in him he liked. So another good opportunity here for Chicago, but New England trying to hold up again here, about 50 meters away. There's DeHaas. He flipped it on there. Right into that ruck, gets it free, trying to let the big boys go to work again up front for the Hounds. And Charlie Abel, he's able to get through and puts it down, and the Hounds now have it tied 12, Bree.
Yeah, and that one's clear as day. Abel saw a huge gap in front of him and just took it to the house. Take a look here. DeHaas just baiting that defense, brings that ball back inside to O'Keefe. And then here, Abel, there was a missed tackle, just misalignment on the defense side, and Abel just marches through. Let's get another look here. Just not enough from New England.
Every time you play against him in a tight end prop position is Charlie Abel. Chris Hilsenbeck trotting on, and Chris Hilsenbeck putting his side up by 2, Bree.
Yeah, this one probably one of the easier kicks he's taken.
Chip shot.
But as he remembers too well from last year, every 2 points is so crucial. You have no idea how close this match is going to be at the end of the match.
Well, the way we're going here, we're in for a high-scoring one. And I'm here for it because I love offense and love big hits. Ben Lesage doing damage on his former backline mate right there. Brock Webster, who we played with last season with these New England Free Jacks and those sharp-looking white kits. Chicago in a kit they've never worn. Those look equally as good. And the Hounds are going to get the call going their way here.
Yeah, I think it's Geiger just taking a second here while we get some more communication from our ref.
Big kick that goes a couple rows into the seats here at Geodis Park, Nashville, Tennessee. It's home to Nashville SC, Major League Soccer side. Among the events they've hosted there, the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup.
Injury.
And we've got an injury stoppage here, says Peter Pender.
And if that's Geiger who is unable to continue, that would be huge detriment for the Free Jacks. But these guys are as tough as nails, so might just need some extra attention. But as we take a break here, 26 minutes in, I should say. I mean, it's been very back and forth. I think, you know, we talked about this coming out of the water break. New England has been much better on their efficiency. But they need to find ways to get more possession of the ball back, because right now Hounds really dominating that, dictating where they're going to play the ball and how they're going to play the ball.
8th all-time meeting. New England leads 5-2. The points coming in 152 to 151 in favor of Chicago. Tries 22-20 in favor of New England. Of course, as we've talked, they last met in the conference final last year, a 1-point win for New England. Opposite ends of the spectrum here. Chicago in green 2-0, New England 0-2. It's a win here for the Free Jacks.
Yeah, and you know, this is probably a good time to talk about the strategy that they are looking to employ, especially heading into this week. Very interesting stat you take a look at: ball in play.
Yes.
When they played against DC last week, their ball in play was 42 minutes. That's crazy. That's more than any Super Rugby match that you would watch, Ben.
Yeah.
And they are really trying to do that against the Hounds. They've had a lot of set piece, and they've been executing quite well. But aside from that, they're going to look to keep the ball in as much as possible, see if they can tire Chicago out.
MLR record, in fact. The previous high was 32 minutes. Anthem in Chicago in that match had 32, and they blew that away by a mile.
Shattered it.
Yep, they sure did. Here's Lennon. Skyward it goes. Into the shadows, down in Nashville. Webster, who's so dynamic in the air.
5, get out of the space.
Too close.
And 5.
On Chicago. Obstruction called there on Nathan Denhout. So big opportunity here for Hodgson and company with his penalty kick coming up.
And look, those are the types of gambles that New England wants to take, right? You know you have Mitch Wilson as an excellent chaser on that side. You're going to set up for the box kick and let that fly. And even if Wilson doesn't get it, you can see right there, clear as day. Denhout doesn't intentionally go for it, but he's in the way of Mitch Wilson. Now they're so much closer to the try line, just about 6-7 meters out.
Bunch of moose right there. That's a play you can't make, his nickname. So your point, here's Geiger.
No challenge.
Zings that one in. Good throw from Caleb Geiger. He is well put together.
He's still on the line. Now we're good.
Versatile guy is Geiger. He's at the back
straight
now.
Through the middle.
Left side of it.
Side entry by 7.
26 minutes gone here in the match. 14-12 Chicago. Lennon. Lesage, Hodgson now into some space and off the fingertips of Boyle, but he's able to get it back into the hands there of Nathan Salmon. Salmon, good tough run there into Hilsenbeck. Salmon.
Release now, Green.
About 8 meters out. Oscar Lennon. Like the Haas can run it, and a big-time shot delivered there by the Hounds. Punishing hit there from Charlie Abel.
That was a huge hit, and I was a little surprised they didn't try to hurry more back to the original mark.
And then number 3, slow the ball down with your feet. You're fine, but then you slow the ball down with your feet.
So you can hear that clear as day from the ref.
Okay, yeah, no worries. On the ground, you're holding the ball in with your feet. I don't need any of that.
Just calling Abel out on some of the cheekiness there. But 5 meters out, here we go.
Here's Geiger now. 95% last week. They were in the line out, but they make a mistake. And Chicago gets out of jail for the time being. Here come the Hounds now. Here's Webster. Kicks that with that right boot inside into the hands of Wilson back there. Mitch Wilson trying to go for the 50-22, but it's short.
Thank you. Good in the line. White, please use the line.
And as they set up for this line out here, let's take a look back lost ball from the Free Jacks in that line out, and then get it away from the initial pressure, send it out to Webster, and you can see nice reactions there from the Hounds, loving what they're seeing. That was a good turnover from Chicago.
Yeah, that's something when we talked with Chris Latham and company about, they wanted this to be as much of a home game as it could be. They gave up one of their 5 to play this match. They brought their Simba in the doghouse. They got Simba there. They've got a lot of fans. Advantage here for the Hounds now.
Advantage is over.
How about this kick? Dropped it right in the bucket. Into the hands of Flash to Ruben de Haas. And de Haas will touch down. What a play. If we're doing a try of the week, that's it right there in this league. A spectacular piece of rugby.
Oh, what a thing of beauty. Sheesh. Oh, you love to see a kick chase try, but then get Mason Flesh, a forward, involved in that. You don't see that very often. Take a look here. Oh, beautiful kick there. It was just him by himself, but of course Flesh gets the height, and then de Haas coming in support, diving it down in front of his 20 family and friends. Oh, that is a thing of beauty. That's got to be the try of the week.
No question about it, and what a moment for Ruben de Haas. We touched on it earlier. Grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas. He had to drive hours just to play rugby. They formed a club, and many of those teammates and the coaches that were a part of that now back in Nashville. They used to go to a big tournament down in Nashville when they were kids, as Hilsenbeck tries to tack on the conversion and does. And it's 21-12 Chicago here in the 30th. What a great moment for Ruben de Haas and his family. That is a highlight reel play if you've ever seen it. He was with NOLA last year. He's the 9 for the United States. There's no question about that. And the cheering section for Ruben de Haas and the Hounds, that is an awesome moment indeed for that young man.
I mean, just immense stuff. And, you know, he played internationally for multiple different clubs before coming back to MLR. And this is a name that I think, you know, until a couple of years ago, everyone was really excited to see back stateside. And you're just seeing a glimpse of everything that he can do.
Yeah, he has really rounded his game. There he is on cue with that kick to get a little bit of room here. New England back there to take it. That's Wilson. Mitch Wilson and Webster, 2 guys that can really get up in the air and make some plays. Now, if you're New England, Bree, you've got to respond. Do you do anything different, or you just keep trying to do what you've been doing?
Now, you got to just keep doing what you've been doing. You have to string together more phases, build a little bit more continuity, get that possession stat back in your favor. And yes, this box kick maybe is a 50-50, but it's exactly how they employ it in terms of the strategy that they want to execute.
Lennon went in a touch.
We'll go to a knock, but that's, again, they want to stick to what the game plan is, right? Yep. And that's exactly what it is heading into this match.
Yeah, there was certainly a confidence in Ryan Martin, and we talked about it earlier a little bit. Last year, they were 3 for 5 in their first 5 matches, and then they went on a 7-game heater, and how about that?
Hey.
Martin Zarenko, who I see on Twitter a lot.
He's left to the mark.
That is definitely worth a mention.
Thank you.
100%.
They're fine.
And so are those outfits the Free Jacks, the first regiment, have on. What a fan base they've got. Chicago's is good too. Awesome to see fans traveling to this beautiful stadium down in Nashville, Tennessee.
Fine. Sit. 1, 2, 3.
Put in from de Haas.
Plan on him.
Theo Furry.
Use it not.
There it sails up skyward from de Haas's boot. Take by Wilson back there. UA teammates with Ruben de Haas. Devoto in on that tackle on Wilson. Now Lennon. Dan Hoot right there to greet the ball carrier. Lennon works it back. Hodgson spins on.
Hold.
Now Boyle.
Onside now.
Webster's back there. He's dangerous. He's a try waiting to happen. Is Brock Webster. Very good sevens player for the Canadian side. Played 15s for them as well. DeHaas frees it up. Here's Devoto now. Devoto, great boot. They'll chase forward here, trying to get through there and get in, but coming over and saving it was Hodgson.
13, great.
Big time play from Joel Hodgson. Took a heavy shot from Lopetti as well.
And that one was just unlucky for Lopetti, being called for the high tackle. Certainly not intentional, just unlucky of the body height there. Would have liked to see, thought that decision from Devoto was interesting. A good little kick through, put pressure on the Free Jacks, but also had a couple of numbers on the outside. Could you have maybe run through them as well?
Time is off.
Thank you.
Got an injured Hounds player there on the right. So they have stopped down for that due to the medical attention that is needed. And that is Chris Hilson back. And you see what's going on there, and it looks like Reese Botha is going to come in for Hilson back. Some blood there on the head. It's a brutal sport. It's a risk every time the men and women that play this outstanding sport step onto the pitch, as you know all too well, Bree.
Yeah, luckily, looking at his face, he looks to be all right, but it seems like there's a nice gash on the back of their head that they're just trying to stop first.
That's rugby. Put a little tape on it, wrap it up, stop the bleeding. There's Botha.
13.
It's an HIA, we're told, a head injury assessment. So Reese Botha is now into the match here to take that fly half spot here, Bree.
Yeah, and Hilsenbeck will, looks like it will take a few minutes for the HIA, and you know that, actually it looks like, yeah, Botha's just setting up now. I think he got a little confused and thought that Hilsenbeck was staying on, but he's jogging back into position now.
Yep. Played last year with Nola Gold. Teammates with Ruben DeHaas, the 9 for Chicago, who has the most recent try that put him up 19-12. The conversion from Hilsenbeck has it now a 9-point match. Joel Hodgson, what a career he's had in this league. Some great years with Utah. We got a challenge here once again. And these challenges are initiated by, there's no flag like in the NFL if you watch sports here in the U.S.
Okay, so
there's no flag.
Foul play at 32-41. Thank you.
Captains have to initiate the challenge.
I can't see the timestamp up there, lads. Can we keep it on that close view, please?
Referee review system operator on site is James Harrison.
I can't see anyone on the ground. Nothing from that angle. From the angles we're seeing, we cannot see clear foul play. Yep. Jimmy, are there any more angles from this? Can you just play it through in slow motion, both of those angles, one last time? We want to be very clear about this. Slow motion. So we're yeah, okay.
Keep playing it through.
So 10 green on the ground, yeah.
Keep watching.
Okay, so after here, as he runs through, is what we're looking for.
Yes, that one.
Okay. And we don't have a tighter angle on that? Zoom in, thank you. So just play that back very slowly.
at from James Harrison. This is different than our replays. This is that was our replay. That angle showed it. So watch number 10 here. He goes in there, thrown off there, and right on his head. Ouch. They're trying to identify the player.
It looks like Lesage to me.
Yeah, it does look like Ben Lesage.
Okay, and then show me the other angle now. I just want to confirm that that's the same player here in the tackle that runs away.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
I'm just watching them now. Yep. So we've got 12 white with a clear step to the head. All right. So we've got nothing more than red card here. Are we looking at a 20-minute or a full red card for that? That's pretty egregious.
If we feel like this is a deliberate action, then it certainly needs to be a permanent red card.
What are we thinking?
If we feel like he's done nothing wrong, then this would be no foul play. I feel like he has a duty of care in this situation, not to step on his head.
Okay, so let's go through this clearly. We have number 12 white. He's clearly stamped on the head of green number 10. All right. It is a deliberate action, so we're going to do a permanent red card. Okay, number 12. Okay. All right. I have a decision. After review from Chicago, it is deemed there has been foul play. There's a clear stamp to the head by number 12 white. It is a deliberate act. It will be a red card, a permanent red card for number 12 white. Chicago will retain their challenge and the clock will be reset to the incident. So number 12 white.
I won't argue with you, but deliberate foul.
You've clearly stepped over him.
That's too bad to see, but Peter Pender looking through it with James Harrison, our referee review system operator. Let's go to Lex Weiner, our laws analyst. Lex, that's a relatively easy call to make, right? Once you see it and determine what happened, there's no question, right?
Yeah, after we got through all the footage, you can clearly see that the Free Jacks number 12 steps on the head of the Chicago player, and it's not a 20-minute red card because it's a violent act of thuggery, and therefore a permanent red card decision.
Good stuff. That's our laws analyst, Lex Weiner, in studio with 3 and 9 here in New York, and you hate to see that. No excuse.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think if you're asking my opinion, I don't think it was quite deliberate from Lesage, but at the same time, duty of care, as you heard the referee say in their assessment.
No challenge. I've got clear access.
And that's a pivotal moment in this game.
Sure is. Veteran player on the backs for New England.
Use it now.
Here's Chicago now, trying to make him pay here.
Use it twice.
Number 2 is on Annie Watch.
Use it.
Back out there, knows that O'Keefe is there without any defender on him. Good stuff from Chicago. And Ben, now, if you're the Free Jacks, you have to figure it out right now. Yep. That is an intense circle up right in this moment. You've got to figure out how to pick yourselves up because these last 2 minutes have been quite the doozy.
Long kick here, trying to stick it, and it is good. And the young man, Reese Bota, who came in to replace Hilsenbeck, who got stepped on there by Ben Lesage, coming in and making it 28-12 now.
And it was really just the middle 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes or so, where we saw the Free Jacks come back in resurgence.
Hold 3. Thank you.
But look, in the last 10 minutes, Ben, they have not been in the attacking 22, and going to go to the boot of Hodgson again.
Take back in there. Mark is called. by Reese Botha. Takes the kick here. Touch finder up that far side. So the Hounds, massive output. 8 tries last week. 48 points in their win over California. On top here, 16-point lead over this New England Free Jack side. 0-2. A lot of changes to their group. Penalty on Chicago.
Sliding tree 4.
Yeah, it wasn't on Den Hoot there. You can see he thought it was him for a second, but it was on Casares. Side entry, you have to enter from the back of the mall there. And Hodgson now getting some more territory. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out, what starter play they go with. They're right on the 22 here. But remember, no Lesage. So in the backs, how do you adjust? Probably some sort of crash in the first phase, right on the back of the line out. We'll see what they do here.
Caleb Geiger.
Access is good.
14 line-out throws last week for Geiger, was tops in the league. He's got it at the back. Lennon comes in. Lennon. New England in need of points. Wayne Vanderbank, the carry there, had an opener for New England in the 14th to help them get it tied at 7 apiece, but now it's 28-12. And the Hounds had one come off the board, too, due to a challenge from New England. And they caught Nathan Den Hoot doing some things in there he shouldn't have been doing. New England looking to get one here late, coming up on now just 3 minutes remaining in this first half. Nathan Salmon, good tough carry from him. He's in a couple. Ball came free. Now DeHaas under pressure. Got it free, though. On to Jones. Now Flash. Look at the big boys work. And would have been a 50-22 when it got down there, but it went out short.
And I believe that kick was taken from inside their own 22, so some pressure relieved there. Oh, I agree with Updog there.
Release the Hounds. They've been released. Putting up massive points here. Last week, again, north of 40 points. 48-28 here. Still a time to play in the half. Deep throw from Geiger. But it was not straight.
Lineout's not straight. Options, please. Scrum or lineout. Scrum cool.
Yeah, take another look here. Free Jacks have been really good in their lineouts, but that one, oof, I think that's a tight call, but just doesn't go straight, says the referee.
You've caught it on your outside shoulder. It's not straight.
And the picture, you can hear the referee, the picture that he's seeing is that the jumper, as he's going to receive that ball, he's leaning towards the outside and not to the inside where the channel is. So that lean is creating or illustrating that picture that that throw is not straight, even if it might have looked tighter on that wide shot.
Bind. Sit. Advantage here now.
The beautiful game on display advantage. There's a mishandled ball there. They look for DeBoer. But we'll come back because New England was
Ranked there. He was the first try scorer of the match. But
14th minute.
boy, have the tides turned since then.
They sure have. They got it level at 7. Then took the lead. And since then, after the kick there, we've had Charlie Abel, then a brilliant play from Ruben DeHaas, and then O'Keefe.
Yeah, just the bobble there, not going to Devoto's hands.
Time off sub. 10's coming back. 0 sub.
So Botha is going out. You heard Peter Pender, our referee, and that is a good sign.
Time on.
It is Chicago Hounds and Chris Hilsenbeck. It's like a little extra wrap on there, but that is brutal. Got a cleat to the head. Ben Lesage given that red card in the 34th minute.
Oh, it just keeps the hair out of his face, Ben.
No hairspray needed there. None for me today. I took the day off with the hair gel and the hairspray. Great to be with Bree Kim, all of our crew here. Chicago.
Stay.
Bree said in the final minute the Hounds want to stick another one in. Charlie Abel, he's got one. DeHaas has got one. He's got a try assist as well. Lepetti always tough to tackle, so strong. Great center of gravity for Lepetti. DeHaas plays right. Ball goes backwards. Now it's gathered in. This is Devoto. Devoto with a fend. He'll dive and get in. Ollie Devoto takes it in here as we're into the red, and the Hounds extend the lead now. It is 33-12.
Well, the 2025 back of the year for Chicago. Ollie Devoto just spots where the space is. Ball doesn't go to hands, but he sees all that space on the left-hand side and says, no, thank you, I'll just take it myself. Extends that already large lead as we take another look here. Just could not be stopped by Lennon. Devoto gets another 5.
Of course, they went out and got Devoto after Billy Meeks decided after a couple of years he wanted to go back and play out west where he lives. He's got his home base out there in California. Devoto, a very experienced player playing overseas, an outstanding pickup. Both these organizations, you look at players they sign, and Tom Kindly gone from New England. Todd Thornley is now their GM, and they had to get creative because of some of the rule changes as this kick from Hilsenbeck will end the half, and it's 33-12, Bree. Chicago on top of the 3-time MLR.
We wanted to put out a performance that our fans, family and our supporters could be really proud of.
Unscripted. Unfiltered. Unapologetic.
Nashville SC, they play the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. They had some matches in there in the Wedgwood, Houston neighborhood of Nashville. Shania Twain was the first concert there. Rugby center stage today. We're back with more after this.
We wanted to put out a performance that our fans, family and our supporters could be really proud of.
Unscripted. Unfiltered. Unapologetic. United. Major League Rugby.
Some BTS.
Already?
So we are, going a little bit behind the scenes here in LA, focusing on a couple of those boys. We're up at 4 a.m. for a workout, which I don't know why I agreed to. Obviously, rugby guys see what they do on the field, but it's about how they operate, what they get off the pitch.
Welcome back, Geodis Park down in Nashville, Tennessee. And the 1st Regiment, they need to get their group going, make some noise in there, and try to get behind their New England Free Jacks, who are down here at halftime, 33-12. Hey, you can follow us all over. You can follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, wherever there's social media. There's all kinds of opportunity to follow us. And Superfan Showdown, your vote. Of course, the old mate is on the line today. And Chicago currently holds it. They took it from California after last week in Major League Rugby. We'll step aside and another timeout. We're back right after this.
We wanted to put out a performance that our fans, family, and our supporters could be really proud of.
Unscripted. Unfiltered. Unapologetic. United. Major League Rugby.
Welcome back to Nashville, Tennessee. It's the Music City Rugby Showdown. Let's get down to the 3rd member of our crew, the one and only Alex Corbacero. Corbs, observations from you from half one. Okay, we have some issues there from the stadium, so we'll get back to Corb when we can. And let's follow this theme. We mentioned it earlier, Bree, and what a day for Nate Sylvia, his wife Katie. Nate Sylvia scored a try, and then we showed you the pink lace in his right shoe, his right boot. That is a new way of doing a gender reveal. Have you ever seen anything like that in sports and anywhere?
Oh, I think there's been different flavors of it throughout sport, but really cool to see the rugby flavor of it today. And congrats to him and Katie and their family. It's always so exciting, and to be able to do that on the pitch, how cool.
Lucas Rumble there, the Chicago Hounds, number 8. You talked about it last week, Bree, that back row, and we asked Chris Latham about that back row, and I said to him, I said, Bree said during the match they're the best back row in the entire league, and you didn't get any argument from him. I know you were listening in and on the call with us, and great stuff there, and just a trio of guys, Flesh and Jones and Rumble, that just get it done.
Yeah, and look, these guys are always doing the work that we don't highlight enough on matches, on highlight reels, unless it's big tackles.
Or
but they're doing so much of the gritty work to protect that ball and keep it in the hands of Chicago Hounds and this guy and their family.
Well, there's Ruben's father, Peter. Great man, great rugby family. He and his father played rugby over in South Africa, where their heritage and their family is from. And what a day it's been for Ruben. He's got about 20 people that have made their way from Little Rock, where Ruben grew up. That's where the family moved to. Started playing rugby down there in a club. There were no high school programs. There was nothing in the state of Arkansas. And to see what he's done, those are the stories, Bree, that I love in sport, where you hope it inspires another generation of players, because there was nothing. He came from that family of South African players. Now he's playing for the United States of America.
Yeah, and look, building on that, rugby, especially in the southern U.S., in that area, in Tennessee, in Arkansas, it's really interesting because they're able to really grow. That's why you have a game like this in Nashville. You're testing this market. You've got Memphis inner city rugby. You've got Nashville inner city rugby. So to be able to bring those kids out, and the college kids who play locally, to see a professional match in this area, I mean, if you can see it, be it, right?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Really cool story. And played with that program, the Little Rock Junior Stormers. The program is still going today. Those young kids used to make their way to Nashville to play, and it's one of those full circle moments for DeHaas and his family. Really cool, and great to see him having a day too. He's got a try, he's got an assist. That try he scored, I mean, let's see if that holds up as the try of this match. I think it's going to. Let's get down and check in with Alex Corbacero down on the pitch. Corbs.
What's going on, everyone? It's been a busy game so far, especially on the scoreboard for the Chicago Hounds. Getting to chat to them just before they came out was the ability to hear about they just don't want to force mistakes now. And I'll let you get back, because it looks like there's a referee review challenge on the field right now. So I'll see you again in a second.
All right, we'll check in with you throughout, Corbs.
This is the tackle we saw, yes. It's a referee review.
Peter Pender is our referee. James Harrison is the operator at the venue. Laws analyst with Bree and I in New York is Lex Weiner.
Point of contact, just to confirm that we've got head contact and not on the ball. Okay.
Take a look if number 3 is bent to the
I'm just about to say that. Okay. So what I'm seeing here is number 3 is bent down. He's in a clear position to make a good tackle. Okay. Yes, there is head contact, but I don't believe we have foul play.
Correct.
Here.
No foul play.
I'm going to come back and I'll reverse my decision. All right, and we are going to play a scrum to New England. Yep. So I have a decision. After referee review, the call on the field is overturned. There is no foul play deemed because the player is bent at the hips and in a clear position to make. Yeah. We're going to restart with a scrum to New England. Mark here. Sorry, lads.
All right, let's check in with our laws analyst, Lex Weiner. Lex, walk us through that. What's the rationale and reasoning behind it?
Yeah, rationale is, so on the field, referee Pete Pender saw that there was a high tackle, and he wanted to see if there was any head contact involved, but upon review, he saw there was no foul play. The Chicago player was clearly bent to the hips, making a legal tackle, therefore going to be a scrum for Chicago, no penalty.
Good work, my friend, our laws analyst, Lex Weiner. One thing I want to clean up, it's the captains that can initiate the review, the challenge. It's also anyone on the staff, the technical staff can do that as well, because like in other sports you see in hockey and basketball where they got all kinds of video people working, it's happening in this one. What are your thoughts on this call going awry?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's a good example of the referee being able to go back and check a call that they might not have been sure about, and I think that was the right call. I think it was right. You saw Abel's body position clearly bent at the hips as he described it. Clean tackle, just unfortunate position there.
All right, back to it. Here's Mitch Wilson. Mitch always brings his work boots and his hard hat. He's a tough customer. And Bree, if you're New England, you got to get in some kind of rhythm here. How do you think they do it? Is it just doing what they do, or do they got to open something up here?
Now they've got to open up a few other things here, but right now, I think they've got to use their forwards to gain a little bit more momentum.
And now, please, Green,
it's really hard against these bullies of Chicago, but you have to win the point of contact a little bit more because you want to unleash your weapons out wide. We've barely called Nathan Salmon's name at all. He's lethal out there, but he hasn't been able to get any ball because they've not had a lot of possession, though that could change right now.
Yeah, it could. Down on the floor, gathered in there. That's Wayne Vanderbank. 2 years ago, player of the year in this league, had a try back in the 14th.
No, Lucas.
And this match seemingly started to go sideways after Ruben DeHaas scored on a beautiful kick that was handled by Flesh. And then DeHaas took the pass from Mason Flesh and ran it in to touch it down and really kind of changed this match. Right now you hear that
Charlie.
throughout the stadium.
He's got it.
The force and the power these men play with is like no other in sport. Penalty call not releasing in time on New England.
Oh, and that initially was a great carry from Himopo, but he looks a little worse for the wear, getting up a bit gingerly. Abel just so dominant there. Big stop. Gets the turnover because Himopo didn't release in time. And now Chicago can continue to kick the ball out, and this we touched on it earlier.
Yeah, we're playing on.
Oh, and they keep that ball in play.
Free Jacks head coach Ryan Martin, second season again. He told us, Bree, he said he feels like they are on the brink of exploding. It looked like that was going to be the case, and it still could be in this match, but they just got behind it here. Now they're chasing it.
Yeah, and look, I think it goes back to what we talked about earlier. Set piece last week,
okay, sorry.
Pretty perfect against DC. This week, they've had a couple of penalties called against them. Chicago able to win right now.
Was against Green. Clearly
and
off
I think
feet.
they're just trying to get back into the game, but they can't do it off of the set piece right now. They're struggling a lot with that, and so they haven't been able to build any momentum.
You know the Jacks Rangers guys, right?
Oh yeah, I've talked to them plenty of times at Veterans Memorial.
And you just saw that. You can tweet at us. Maybe your tweet will get on the air. Hashtag MLR 2026. Calling for Marto Magic. And do they ever need it if they're New England? I can tell you this. Nobody else in the league is going to feel sorry for New England. New England's got to find a way to dig out of the hole they're in right now. An 0-2 start. And up against it here against a Chicago Hounds side that is dialed in.
Yeah, and they're a young squad. We've touched on how they're very different from last year. But as we take a look now, you see head coach Chris Latham, former Wallaby international as well, feeling very happy with how their boys have showed out thus far. And as we get into it, the Centurion, Luke White, how good.
Welcome to the Century Club, Luke White. What a great guy he is. What a player he's been and still continues to be in Devoto. Taking Mitch Wilson head on the Hounds. DeHaas quickly in at the base. Chicago trying to put another one, trying to get to 40 again this week. Converted try, and they're home with that. Here come the Hounds again. DeHaas. On to Devoto.
No, White! Here. Two, first you've got to clearly roll, and then your hands are passed.
There's the call from Peter Pender, who started refereeing 23 years ago. He's a college player, university player in New Zealand. Knee injury forced him out. Robin Kaluzniak, Mike Lawrence in the ARs, James Harrison, the RRS operator on site. And as we mentioned, Lex Weiners here in New York with Bree and I, our laws analyst here today. There it is for Luke White. What a milestone. What a man he is. A mountain of a man. Hate to run into him in a dark alley.
9th MLR season.
Yeah. Every one.
Every single one.
Every one he's played in, yep. And you can't have enough of that, right? I mean, there's a great mix on this Chicago side of youth and you got veteran leaders, and we haven't even seen a guy like Santiago Videla in this match yet. I mean, you know, those are just two guys. There's lots of other players that fit that mold. And there's one of the young guns, Ruben de Haas, 44 caps for the U.S. Ball in the hands of Joel Hodgson.
And good work there from the flanker to be able to get that ball back. And look, the forwards of New England have had a tough challenge all match, especially. We've not really called Hodgson's name very much. I mean, a lot of the kicking has come from at the base of the ruck through the box kicks.
That's yours, please.
Of Lennon. But right now, they've got to look to turn over that ball, and Chicago is just doing such a good job of protecting that in the rucks.
Yeah, to your point, partner, Hodgson last week led the league with 341 meters kicked. But today it's not been on to this point. Here comes New England now. Vanderbank plays it outside there. That's Salmon, little behind the back pass. Boyle under pressure, got rid of the ball. Now it's down on the floor, picked up by Boyle.
Fine, general play.
Boston-born, New Zealand raised, back in Boston, playing for the Free Jacks for the second time in his career. New England trying to make some quick work here. 49th minute, down 33-12. Good carry here to get him to the 22. Keeping that ball moving. Lennon. Quick movement. Good hands from Hodgson there.
Playing advantage, knock on only. Scrum advantage.
You heard Pender. Lennon. Furry missed on the tackle.
Now, please,
Den Hoot does not.
Ball's available. It's here.
The Moose with another tackle for Chicago. Lennon.
Ball's available. Advantage over for the scrum.
Imopo, newcomer at number 8. Chicago trying to stay with him here. That's Vanderbank. .16 at the hooker spot, replacing Caleb Geiger.
Hands up, 4. Advantage here. Offside number 4.
Free Jacks. Advantage. Casares was offside for Chicago.
New England did a good job of just delivering blow after blow to just try to wear down the Chicago defense, but they're so physical that they're able to stop them, and unfortunately, at the expense of some penalties, the last one there being offsides.
Who's going on?
I thought New England did a good job of being patient there, letting it unfold, phase after phase. We'll see how they do in this line out.
Right.
Can they convert?
Still a lot of time left, but they're in a pretty big hole, and it's every possession is going to really be a must-have for them at this stage of this match. Even still now. Chicago right there. Hilsenbeck, that wrap on his head. He got stepped on in the 34th minute. Lesage, the permanent red card, taking him out of this match. Pick and go. They're trying to work their way in. That's Mappa. Tavita Mappa.
Thank you. Playing advantage. 3 green, offside.
Here you hear from Pender. Charlie Abel, the guilty party for the Hounds. Advantage here being played.
Lines are good, thank you.
From the back, Mappa spinning, held up, push back. Oscar Lennon comes Chicago. They double team the ball. Will reset for the advantage. The Free Jacks have Bree.
Yeah, that's the second penalty in a row for being offsides. They're doing a good job of adjusting after they hear the call from the referee, but they've got to shape it up right now. And you
just hold.
More reserves coming in for both sides. Tavita Soleil in. The prop there, number 17. Spent some of his life in Tonga. Line out here for the Free Jacks.
Let's come back.
Looking to chip away.
We're off the mark. It's backwards once, lads.
This big deficit they're in.
And release him now.
To the 5, laid back. It's McKenzie. It's 33-19 now, and of course, it's make it, take it. They're getting it right back.
Yeah, and they're going to receive that ball probably somewhere between the 40 and their own 22 in their half.
It's a permanent red card, not 20 minutes. No one can come on.
You can hear just checking to see. Remember, there's a difference between the permanent red and the 20-minute red, but in this case, Lesage is got the permanent red card, so they will remain one person down for the last 30 minutes.
Tough enough to play this game with 15, right? But when you got to do it with 14, you got to dig a little deeper, right? More fortitude you need. New England, their DNA is such. The benchmark in this league, can they mount a comeback?
Okay, retire, get out of it.
Turned over here, Ruben DeHaas having himself a day. Into the 22 goes DeHaas. Charlie Abel comes in, ball down on the floor. Brandon Harvey's checked in for Chicago. First career try last week. Also capped by the U.S. Lepetti now, Webster outside, good ball delivered. Mark O'Keefe already on the score sheet today with a try back in the first half. Chicago trying to answer with a try of their own to get that lead back to where it was. Good ball here. Dan Hoot with steam coming, the big block. Lepetti trying to kick through, they turn it over. That went off of Salmon and into the hands of Hawkesbury.
Yeah, and a good choice by Vanderbank. Send that ball to the other side. Make them regroup. Oh, big shot there from Salmon.
Play tackle.
You could just see him.
Play tackle. There's nothing more.
A clear call there as they get set through Hodgson's drop kick. I was going to say that the Hounds were firing on all cylinders out of that line out, electing not to go with them all that time and play out the backs, but just couldn't execute on that last one as they get set to counter.
There's Hilson back. Unfortunately for Chris, he's very easy to identify with that wrap on his head. There's Webster. To see his skills now. Tidwell kicks one. Chasing after it, trying to get down there, but coming away was Boyle. And as he kicked it, took a shot down, looked on his left knee there. A lot of heat from Chicago there, Bree.
Time off, lads.
You can hear fans getting behind it, too.
Lads, we've got to stop. 12 green.
Let's go back and take a look at this. Just happened moments ago, and you can see clearly lost it. There's separation between the hand and the ball. And then just now, moments ago, a little bit of back and forth. That ball ends up in Boyle's hands, and then just gets the end of that. Dakota just giving him a hand to help him up.
Yeah, you can come up to the line. No contest.
Chicago lineup.
Access is good. Come forward.
Throw in there to Brandon Harvey. 19 is Harvey. Here's Furry. He's on hat-trick watch. 2 in the first half. For the hooker for the Hounds.
Ball's available. Use it.
Right between his legs. DeHaas turns, takes a look now. Luke White, man, they'd love to get Luke one. His 100th match in Major League Rugby. As Bree said, he's played in every season of it. Trying to power in here is Chicago. New England trying to dig in here.
The ball's here.
Luke White directing a little bit of traffic, and Pender's there, and another try for Chicago. They power it home. That front row doing it again, and the man they call Moose. Dan Hoot gets one home, and the Hounds lead 38-19.
And somehow that was just the first one for them in this half. But finally break the silence. Here we go. Just that dominance. Who else than Dan Hoot, who has been outstanding thus far in this match? It looks like for a second maybe White would get it in his hands, but picking just right off of the ruck and just reacted first. They get those points.
There's a good look at Moose. Hilson back to trying to get Chicago to 40 points for a second consecutive week. 48-24 win last week at home against California, who came in and they looked pretty darn good in their second match, and week 2 for the Legion, but they got blown right out of the water. Chris Hilson back, and the Hounds in control of this one here as we near the final quarter of the match. A minute and a half from that.
9 white is off. Okay. 9. Just wait. Get 9 white off. Is he gone?
Chris Latham, you mentioned him earlier, Bree. 40 tries.
He's gone, or is he out?
For the Wallabies of Australia. That is second all time. It was when he stepped away, and you can see, man, he's still jacked. He still looks like he could play. Fun to talk to. Both coaches were. And Latham in this Chicago side, focused, dialed in. Everything's clicking for him.
Yeah, I mean, they've doubled the points on the board, 38-19, and you've seen some of the subs, some more subs coming on now to get just some more minutes to their name.
New England, they're still in this thing. They need to score, though. Mitch Wilson, greeted there by USA Eagles teammate Mark O'Keefe. The Hounds up this near line, speed. Mark O'Keefe takes on Hodgson, played back to Santiago Videla, who's in the match here. Number 23, the Chilean international. Scored last week in the second half, converted the try that he scored, and what an energy guy he was in that second half. Another big tackle made out there in space. New England can't come up with a pill here. Lepetti down to the ground he goes. Hands it back to Ruben de Haas. Hounds want more. Videla.
Play it.
I called him a specimen last week, and that's exactly what Chris Latham called him. He is put together. Hounds looking to enter the 22 here. That ball played on into the hands of Emmanuel Albert, who's checked into the match. Here's Webster now to the edge. O'Keefe bounces off Wilson. Haas quickly moving it on. Big run there. Another big carry from Emmanuel Albert. The only change in the 23 this week, making his Hounds debut as Albert. He was with Houston last year as well. And an experienced player, very experienced. Knock on, Free Jacks, get it.
Thank you.
And you could just see how gassed they are. That was a long passage of play. And now they can get that break and that water that they need.
Well, with that said, Bree and I'll do the same. Maybe a sip of coffee mixed in there as well. Hydration break here in half number 2. Ruben de Haas and the Hounds in control of this one.
There's a new roof in town. Color steel with Activate technology for next generation performance.
We all have a daily routine, but that doesn't mean it has to feel so routine. With My Food Bag, you can come home knowing dinner time is going to be simple, healthy, and always delicious. My Food Bag. Dinner done better.
Only one sport delivers moments like this.
Johnston for history! 213! Oh, this is a where were you moment!
Only NRL. Thursday, live Sky Sport.
Starting them young in Nashville there, and if you take your phone out, if it's in your hand or right by you, grab it now, scan that code, that QR code, get your tickets for the 2026 Major League Rugby Championship that'll be played in the home of the Chicago Hounds, SeatGeek Stadium, where the 23 final. Bree, you and I were there with Mike Petrie for that classic that New England. That was the start of it. for New England. It'll be the 20-year anniversary of SeatGeek Stadium.
Patience, guys.
And I said when the year started, you look at what Chicago added. It's hard to not pick them at the start of the year and what they have and what they brought in. Pretty impressive stuff.
Ball's out.
You see how it plays out right now. They're in control. New scrum half in for the Free Jacks. It's Ethan McVie, 7 caps for the United States. Here's the dangerous Webster. Webster weaving his way through. Webster with another tough carry. He's electric. Can take it the distance at any time. Here in the 63rd minute. 38-19, Chicago 2-0. Trying to put New England to the tipping point. 0-3, Emmanuel Albert. He's looked good, Breeze. Come in and had about 3 carries already.
Yeah, head full of steam, Ben. Debut, got to get out there and show what you can do.
Chicago still coming with pace, coming with tempo. This one off the fingertips. Here's Albert again. He was on that Houston team last year that lost to New England in the championship in Rhode Island. Here's Charlie Abel. Look at the big man. Charlie Abel, willing and able again. His second try of the match. Showing some skills like a 9, Bree Kim.
Ooh-wee. Charlie Abel and this Hounds attack. God, they just look so comfortable around the ball. They're so physical, but take a look at this. It all started with Brock Webster taking it to his former team, just slicing and dicing through multiple defenders. That's what set it up. And then you take a look from the base of the ruck, getting it out to none other than big man Charlie Abel, looking like a back on this run. Taking it to the house for try number 2. Gets a brace. Man, Chicago just look unstoppable right now.
They sure do, Bree. They really do. Won the Shield with the Giltinis back in 21. He was selected for the Team of the Week in rounds 2 and 3, and he might be the Player of the Week in week 4. 2 tries for the big man.
Kick is unsuccessful.
Stays 43-19.
And I mean, just in that passage of play from 1 to 15, just, I mean, he gets the deserved break now. Yep. He comes off.
Yep.
What a game for him. He's celebrating to his fans right there. Love that.
He only had 1 try last year in 13 matches, started 12. So what a day for Charlie Abel.
He's on hold. Yep.
And that's the dangerous part of this side, right? I mean, in all seriousness. Front row, second row, back row, their backs. You got a guy like Videla who's coming off the bench at this point. I mean, that is incredible.
This guy doesn't get enough attention here.
No.
And the fact that he's coming off the bench, when we talked to Latham about him, he's like, dude, he is one of the best players you could ever have, one of the best teammates. Doesn't matter, you know, he's got such a storied reputation, and to be coming off the bench, he's supportive no matter what, no matter where he is on the roster. So good for his team. And New England, here we go, getting that kickback.
Big bounce, big break for them. Tracked down by the big lock, Piers Von Dadelsen. So the Free Jacks here, we'll get back to that on Videla when we get a chance. New England here trying to get home. Still plenty of time left in this match. 43-19. They got to have it now, though. Hodgson in a crossfield kick. What a kick this could be. Dropped it right in the bucket there into the hands there of Salmon.
Try 14.
Oh, what a beautiful play. World-class stuff from Joel Hodgson.
Well, you predicted it, Ben. That was money from Hodgson and Salmon. Oh, just such a good tool in your arsenal, and you're the Free Jacks. Take a look off of this line out here, scoops up that ball, and it's a kick downfield from McVie. Bounces over his head, but still gets the ball back. That one through Von Dadelsen. And then Hodgson, with that IQ we know he has, just sees the space out wide, and Salmon just waiting for it. And look at that celebration.
That is money. Joel Hodgson, as they say about the 10s, pulling the string perfectly on that one. That was, I mean, again, that was world class. So 43-24 here. Free Jacks getting it back.
Challenge from Chicago.
Yeah, and look, I love the courage, and just heard right there from the referee mic, there is a challenge. You can see Latham on the walkie-talkie as you let the referee take it away.
Chicago, the player's under review.
So challenge initiated. Peter Pender will talk with James Harrison, our RRS operator. Hounds seeing something up top, Bree, that they feel would negate that world-class play.
Okay, to confirm, at 64-31, we have a challenge from Chicago that the winger is in front of the kick within 2 phases of a try.
Okay.
They're looking for that toe that is just past the line, but I think it's going to be very close.
So we're saying it's this last kick here. It's the only angle. Okay, thank you.
Peter Pender, our referee, in the middle there.
61-42, the chip kick. Can we just play that backwards to make sure it's within 2 phases as well?
He's flanked by Robin Kluzniak on screen left. Mike.
And you're looking at this guy right here, the ball carrier.
And come back to where the kick
is he in front of the kicker? And that was Van Daalsen.
Same angle, so we're going to get the camera change. Yeah.
So take a look here. Van Daalsen should be at the top of your screen in the corner.
Okay, yep. All right, and just to confirm, we've only had 2 ruck plays and then the kick across to the try is scored. So within 2 phases of a try.
Yes, take a look. Van Daalsen in the red scrum cap. You can see he is in front of the kicker.
White is in front of the kick. He has material impact in the play, chasing the ball and being a part of the following ruck. So our decision will be overturn the try. We'll come back for an offside in front of kick. And we'll stay our marking here, 15 in near the goal line. All right? All right. I have a decision. Following a team challenge from Chicago, it is deemed that in phases of the try, there was a kick where the player wasn't. The try will be overturned. The challenge is successful. Chicago will retain their challenge. The time will be reset to the incident.
Which is in an offside position, therefore it has to be try overruled, unfortunately, for New England.
Yeah, it takes away a brilliant piece of rugby by Hodgson and Salmon, but as Lex said, and as Pete Pender walked us through with the looks from
try, and Salmon not going to get that one as a highlight try to his name, but Free Jacks continue to work here as they continue to play with ball in hand.
Trying to get back down the pitch. This one off a Chicago player.
Coming back now, they're always under pressure.
They've got to be tighty to use that rugby word so many like to use. Okay. That was cool. It was you don't hear about too many athletes coming out of that school. Really known for their athletic programs, but Jackson Zabrick is a product of there. Here he is with the throw now, knocked away by Van Daalsen, right back to Zabrick. Some big moments last year in his first season with the Hounds.
Stay up, Green. Stay up.
Manuel Albert, always tough, always physical. So is this guy.
And tackle now,
Luke
release.
White in there. Lays that ball back. Videla.
All the way out. Ball's available.
Ruben de Haas. Still in the match. You wonder if they go to Michael Baska here in the final few minutes here. Still just under 12 to go. And look at Rumble. Rumble up that far touchline. De Haas. And what a homecoming of sorts it's been for him. Played in this city as a youth player from Little Rock, Arkansas. Big group of people here. His father's here, his family, his coaches, friends. Here's Tidwell. What a run from Tidwell. I mean, this kid continues to play well and give them big moments when he touches the ball.
No, take a step. He's onside now. Play on.
Albert, big heavy run there. White trying to push him in, and he does. Emmanuel Albert stretching out with that right hand, bringing that one down into the turf. He's earned it. He's come in and gave him massive minutes here in the second half. And Chicago now leads it 48-19.
There's still 11 minutes left to go in this match. As they inch closer to 50, but take a look at this replay. Just able to keep that ball alive no matter what bodies are hanging on as they look to recycle this one.
We have a team challenge from New England. The player's under review.
First, we'll take another look.
So this time a flag was thrown down on the pitch.
All right, within 2 phases, they're challenging. Okay, so just to confirm, New England is challenging a forward pass within 2 phases at 68 minutes. The on-field decision is try.
And there you heard it from Peter Pender. So they'll line up, they'll watch the looks they're getting from the RRS referee review system operator James Harrison in the stadium.
Phases, if it is in case, okay.
Yeah, if we could play it from the try.
From the try, go backwards, and we'll count towards the, All right, so that's the action of scoring the try.
So top of your screen, you can see what they're looking at as well in the stadium at Geodis Park in Nashville.
Here's our second phase, so anything before this is fine. Here, from here, Here. And this is the pass they're expecting. That's fine. Let's keep watching. This is the last phase they can have here. So let's go back to 68 minutes now and make sure that we confirm we're seeing the right incident. So we're 30 seconds back now, so that's...
There's no forward pass within 2 phases.
Yeah, no, okay, so the forward pass that we're looking at is outside of 2 phases. The challenge is outside of protocol, so I have a decision. Decision is after review. The challenge came outside of 2 phases of the try, so it cannot be reviewed. It is outside of protocol. New England lose their challenge. They have no challenges remaining. Try stands.
There you have it.
Reset,
Peter
60 seconds from now.
Referee
60 seconds from now.
With the call. There you see Santiago Videla, the Chilean international. What a player he is. What a career. Still going strong. 41 caps for Chile. All-time leading point scorer. He's over 300 points. I mean, look at the legs on this guy. He didn't miss any leg days, Bree. He didn't miss any days.
Sure didn't.
Wow. And all kidding aside, wait till he kicks this here, trying to put Chicago at 50 points. Calmly strikes with the right, and that thing is good from maybe mid-pitch, but we asked Chris Latham. You and I were just blown away by the energy he gave in that match. But let's go to the try first, and then we'll get back to Videla.
Yeah, I mean, this is just emblematic of the Chicago forwards' work. They just get up and keep going and grind away through the carries. Albert getting that one. And look, I agree with Sal.
Yep. We are inside the 20 time. Used it 9.
That was absolute heartbreak. Heartbreak for everyone on this Hound side. And, you know, New England, even they watched the video back at the beginning of this week to get them to understand, especially the new guys, the young faces, to get them to understand what this match meant. Just a little bit too much for this New England side.
A 50 burger on the score sheet here, still with 9.5 minutes to play. Free Jacks back with it. Sione Topu, the hooker, and there's the signal from Pender. And another miscue from New England. Here's to Haas now. Hops over the aforementioned Videla now. Lepetti steps on the gas, gains halfway. Ruben Haas on to Luke White. His 100th cap today every year he's played in this league since it came around in 2018. Moving to Haas, gets it deep. There's a kick. This is on the good side of the pitch, but it's handled back there. No chance of 50-22 there. As Hodgson grabbed it.
You need to run backwards before you run the ball.
So there's where that will be spotted. Line out coming for.
Use the line, please, White.
Restart. It'll be Zabrick in there. Bree, player of the match candidate. You picked that, so this, I mean, this isn't an easy one to pick. Who you got?
Putting all the pressure on me, but look, it's 3 guys, all from the Chicago 4. Platform for them and enable them to go ahead against this Free Jack side, and the work rates off the ball too cannot be discounted. They've had just an immense passage of play.
Thorough performance here from Chris Latham and his Hounds and his staff. Prepared all week.
Use it.
I think Corbs asked him later in the call, kind of circled back and said, you know, you out for blood basically. He said, well, if it was the playoffs, clearly, but you know, 3rd match of the year, maybe not so much, but I don't know if I totally believe that. I know coach speak when I hear coach speak, and it was personal. What a performance by the Hounds. New England here still trying to fight. Look at the big man run. Here they go. Good ball played on. The 24 match.
Classic scrum half support. Gets him those 5 points. Ethan McVie with the great run off the backside of his teammate. Let's take a look here. And just was able to open that up. That's what the Free Jacks were hoping to do much earlier in the match, but V gets that one, takes it all the way home. And look, for this New England side, yes, the scoreline's certainly not in their favor, but it's all about these tests of resilience, these little moments throughout the match that they can respond to. And yes, they're going to walk away from week 3 with just a tough result on their shoulders. But it's all about developing this young squad. Average age is 22. Yeah. Very different identity for Marto here.
It sure is. There's the San Diego native, Ethan McVie. Joel Hodgson as we come up on the 75th minute here in the match. A 24-point lead for Chicago. First time Chicago had won their first 2, so obviously they're going to make some history here if this holds up. Less than 6 to play. You figure it would. You never know, though. As New England will get it back here, down by 24.
Tackle now, release screen.
With the take for the Free Jacks.
Use it, 9.
McVie.
Knock on by White.
Ball came down. Advantage here as Webster gathered that ball in. Baskin went up, tried to get it for the Hounds initially there.
That's fine. Advantage is over.
Haas wheels it out of there.
Release White. Ball's here.
Lepetti still running tough. Former St. Mary's Gale. What a program they've got in the college ranks. They're in Northern California. About halfway between San Francisco and Sacramento. This one knocked down by the captain of the Hounds, Lucas Rumble.
Right here, boys.
An immense leader for this side.
Yep.
He got player of the match last week. And this week just continuing the progress forward for this side.
Yep, 2 tries for him last week in the win.
Come lift to that night, thank you.
And just threw in 15 tackles on the defensive side.
That's good. Thank you.
Such a warrior. So Hodgson there on the left. And New England gave up nearly 50 in that round 1 loss against California. This is the most points New England has ever given up, Bree.
I mean, that's just a brutal stat to look at, and You know, this is exactly what Chicago was hoping to do, is just put it to the metal and make them pay. They're just trying to eat away at this margin right now. But it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough pill to swallow. They've got to quickly swallow that, because they've got next week to prepare for. It's all about resilience, and quick resilience at that, in this short season.
Sure is. That loss to California was their worst defeat in terms of the points differential that they had to open the season. Lost by 2 to DC last week. But a season ago, they lost 3 of their first 5, including a 36-7 loss in Chicago. That was early in the season. Then they went on a 7-game heater. But the season much shorter. It's only 10 rounds this year. Now you're 0-3, and you are really behind it. Only 4 are getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, and you've got to figure out, as you go back to the drawing board this week, how you can control that possession stat. We talked about that earlier in the match. But Chicago, they had 122 carries to the Free Jacks 94. And just, I mean, I wish we could look at the time also in possession, because I think that's an even more drastic difference. But just completely paving the way has been Chicago all game.
50 on the board, leading by 24 here in the final 2.5 minutes of this match. Hounds down here in Nashville. This meant a lot to them. They've been talking about it for well over a year, to play one of these destination games, so to speak, and the venue. Just past the 5 o'clock hour local time down there in the central time zone here in the United States. Mitch Wilson continues to battle. Ball turned over. Here comes Videla to the edge. A little too much, but Tidwell able to gather it in. A little goose step from Tidwell. Takes on the New England defender, trying to rip that ball out, and they get him into touch. Do the Free Jacks.
Yeah, and they're going quick, line out. They want to just go and play, make the most of this last minute.
Hodgson to halfway.
Enough on.
Let's go, finish it off, come on.
We don't need to talk.
We don't need to talk.
Well, if you're Luke White, it's your 100th MLR match, of course you're going to say some cheeky stuff to them.
Right.
And just the dropped ball there from Hodgson.
Come on, Mook.
New England has ever conceded in a match in their time in Major League Rugby.
Backwards. No, ball's not out. Back.
Both had a carry there. And to come in early in the match, earlier in the match, trying to throw it outside, intercepted by Hodgson, thrown backwards. Videla's in there. Von Dadelson lays that ball back. Now McVie takes a look. Comes Wilson. He's dropped. You heard that hit, that collision, the finish. Hodgson thrown down to the turf in Nashville. Hodgson again. McVie looks left, looks right, plays it left. Emmanuel Albert, what a shift he's had. Played a really good second half. Getting the try that helped them get to 50. Conversion got him there. Popped over the top. Hounds gather in. Albert. Now Lepetti has gone the distance here today. Geiger greets him. Webster says, that's enough, boys. We're done. 3.5 extra minutes. Release the Hounds indeed. Charlie Abel and the Chicago Hounds, a beatdown on New England here today. They hit 50 and they avenge last year's loss, the last 2 years' losses in the conference final. They are 3-0 for the first time in franchise history. 50-26, Bree. What a performance. What a shift from this Hounds side. Impressive stuff. 48 last week, 50 this week. And here is the moment of the match, Bree Kim.
Well, look, they are celebrating in this music and party capital. This is the moment of the match here. Getting that ball out, and oh, Charlie Abel running like a back. No one gets in his way. Dotting it down, just taking all the air that was left in New England saddle.
Great to see the big men eat some, man. They're hungry. They do all that work up front in that front row, and Charlie Abel with a big-time payday. He only scored 1 try last year, and he had 2 here today, and helping the Hounds get to 3-0 for the first time in franchise history here at Geodis Park. A historic day for the Hounds, 3-0. They've scored more points than anyone has ever scored on New England stats. What grabs your eyes the most, Bree, from the numbers?
I mean, it's just the carries. Wow, 8 tries. Chicago scored 8 tries last week, too.
Yep.
And the penalty count for New England, 14, is just too high. They've got to figure out how they can get the discipline and get that ball back.
Yep, the numbers don't lie. 16 tries in 2 matches for the Hounds. Geodis Park was very kind to these Chicago Hounds. We're not done yet. We're going to have our player of the match interview with the big man Alex Corbacero and our player of the match Charlie Abel and more after this.
And you know, any audiology professional will tell you that hearing loss isn't just about volume. Actually, it's more like the brain working overtime to decode a distorted signal. It's really quite fascinating. Your auditory system is guessing what it missed, which could affect memory, focus, even how clearly you think. That's why it's absolutely essential that